to my book journey. Today I have my TBR for July, and I have changed things up a little bit to kind of do a readathon that I have been wanting to participate in for the past couple of years, but really haven't fully done it because of the way my TBRs are usually done. So this month's going to be different. So I'm really excited about it, and hopefully this video won't be, I always say that, hopefully this video is not too long, and then it always is. I've got my cold mocha here because it's kind of warm today. I have the window open to let the cool breeze in. Hopefully it won't get too loud in here. So thank you for joining in with me today. July is going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. I'm thinking about how I'm going to do this video because there's some different things I want to do. But let me go ahead and just talk about my regular challenges. And I'm only going to do 2 challenges this month because like I said, I want to free up the rest of my TBR with something really fun. So for my Journey Through Time reading challenge, historical fiction reading challenge, the prompt that I have is American Revolution. And so for that one, I am going to be reading a book called A Founding Mother. I'll put it up here. I don't have that one. I'm going to check that one out from the library on Libby probably. And this one I've heard some really great things about. I had posted, and I will link that below, I did a recommendation video of books set in this time period. And I mentioned this one, and there were several people that commented that either they had already read it or they were in the process of reading it and they were really enjoying it. So that makes me feel good that I'm going to read something that is really good. So this story has to do with Abigail Adams. So she's the wife of John Adams, mother of Samuel Adams, and who were both presidents of the United States. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. I just love the cover of this book as well. So that is the book for that. And then for the other reading challenge that I've been doing this year is Jane Reed's, Jeanette's Christian Fiction Bingo Board. And for the month of July, she always gives us 2 prompts. The first one is read a book that's set in Scotland or in the UK. And the second prompt is the book has a cursive title, I believe. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. A cursive font for the title. And so as I was looking through my books, and I really didn't have anything set in Scotland, but I had several that are in England, but then they didn't have cursive fonts, and I wanted to double up. I wanted to just do one book, but I did find one. So, and it's this one, and I keep sharing this book in multiple videos, so I'm finally going to read it because it's on my officially on my TBR. So this is Not Exactly Mr. Darcy. So the not exactly is in cursive. And it's set in England, in an English village. And this is, I believe it's kind of like a Pride and Prejudice retelling. Now, some of you all may know too that in July we have a readathon called Jane Austen July. So this will count like a retelling. That they always have that that prompt for a retelling. So that's going to fit not only the retelling for Jane Austen July, but also for Jeanette's challenge. So those 2 books, Founding Mother and Not Exactly Darcy, are the ones that are my reading challenges for the month of July. And so the rest of these books are either buddy reads or group reads, or the thing that's going to be fun when I do that. So let's see. Let me talk about the group reads or the buddy reads. So for my buddy reads, I have 2 so far scheduled for July, and the first one is Emma M. Lyon. We are going to be reading that volume 7. Oh no, we only have 2 left. So volume 7, and I'm buddy reading that with Katrie. So the last book was really good. I really enjoyed it. So book volume number 7. I don't own that one, so I will be listening to that on audio. And then I have another buddy read, and that is with Taylor over at Tales with Tay. And we have buddy read 2 books or 2 stories out of this. Is a bind up I have of it's like volume 1 of Sherlock Holmes's work, or not Sherlock Holmes's work, Sherlock Holmes stories. It's a bind up by Sarah Arthur and Conan Doyle, and we have buddy read 2 of them so far. So after we had finished those 2 in my bind up, the next thing is the adventures of, let's see here. It's a bunch of stories. So my bind up after the last book, The Sign of 4, is the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and there's several of them. So we are gonna buddy read the next one, and it's A Scandal in Bohemia. So that is our buddy read. That is my buddy read with Taylor. So those are the 2 buddy reads I have for the month of July. Then I have a couple of group reads that I want to try to do. So I didn't participate in Oshina's book club for July, and it was the 3rd book in the Mark of the Lion series. I wanted to, but I just didn't have time to do that. But that's fine. I mainly really wanted to hit those first 2 books. So the book for July is And the Shofar Blew. And I don't really know anything about this one. It says it has to do with the pastor and pastor's wife story and church life. So that's the next one for Oshina's. And then I just saw that Tammy over at the Protagonist Pub, she has a book club in July as well, and she wanted to read the book by David McCullough, 1776. Now, I have always seen this book, and when she mentioned that, I'm like, oh, that's like a big, she likes the big books. But then in her video, she said it wasn't very long, and I'm like, really? I always thought it was like a big chunker. So I went ahead and requested it at the library, and I got this really good, nice copy. It's so big, and where you can just lay it out like that, and it isn't that long. I was surprised. It's less than 400 pages. Yeah, because that's the sources. Let's see here. Where does it actually end? A lot of footnotes in this book. So it's not even 300 pages. It's 294. So it's very doable. Doesn't even count for Big Book Summer. So I'm really going to try to do this. This is a book that I've been wanting to read for a long time. And so I'm going to try to participate in Tammy's book club. So, and of course goes along with, American Revolution, my journey through time as well. Although this is not a historical fiction, it is a nonfiction book. Okay, let me just cover up before I get into my prompts and things. I wanted to talk about a couple of, or actually no, let's do this. Well, no, let's talk about these readathons first. Okay, so like I mentioned before, we have Jane Austen July, and I will link all of these readathons, their announcement videos. I will link them in the description below, so you can look those up. So we have the Jane Austen July, and they have a ton of different prompts, but like I said, retellings I know is one of them. There's other ones. I usually only try to maybe do the group read. I think I did the group read last year. It was Emma. That's right. I did do the group read last year with Emma. And I really did not I didn't like that one as much as I liked Pride and Prejudice. So the group read for this year is Mansfield Park. And so that's the one that they're going to be doing as a group read. Another readathon that actually Taylor told us about was Private Eye July. And this is now I'll put the picture up here, the bingo board, or it's like a tic-tac-toe board, I think. But that's all about mysteries and things like that. And so our book for Sherlock will count for one of those things. So if you like mysteries and that kind of thing, Private Eye July that might be something that you would want to check out. Another readathon that is not all month long, it's by the Bright Side Girl, and she has her Mermaid Marathon from July 6th to the July 19th. And this is, like it is, a Mermaid Marathon. And I'll put her board up here, is so cute. It's like a little map, and you just follow the map to go to different books, like some pirate, you can read a pirate book about pirates, of course, mermaids, sea creatures, and things like that. So I would love, there's one that is a retelling of The Little Mermaid, and that's Karen Whittemeyer's next book, and it's called A Part of Your World. It just came out this month, or at the end of June, I think. Anyway, or maybe July, I'm not quite sure, but it is one that I would love to read, and that would count for a, well, it's a retelling. She's not quite a mermaid because it's set in the Old West, but I'm going to count it for a mermaid retelling. Okay, time to take a little break. I'm drinking my cold mocha, and it is really good. Okay, I'm going to do my spinner wheel for my classics. So for the way I've been doing it this year is every 3 months, I choose a classic. So it gives me 3 months to read it. And unfortunately, even though I gave myself 3 months to read it, I usually, like in the last month, I'm just like, oh, I need to finish and read this book. So maybe I'll do better this time. So for my first one I did was Dracula, and I read that in March. And then I am finishing Jane Read as we speak, or not Jane Read, Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre, I'm reading that one, and it's really good. I'm halfway through it. Then, so for July, August, September is going to be my next classic. And so I went ahead, and usually I show you my spinner wheel, but I didn't do it this time. This time I've already done it. I did it on my phone, and I recorded it for you. And so I'm gonna either put it up here, or I'm gonna put it right after this. So, and you'll see that so I thought it was really funny. I went to my class. I have a really small shelf that has classics, and I typed them all in. I had quite a few, and I'm like, oh, that's I have a good group of, to put for my spinner wheel. And as you can see, the one that popped up, perfect timing, I guess, is Mansfield Park, and that is the group read for Jane Austen July. So it's a trigger. So like I said, I don't have to finish it in July. I have 3 months to read this book. So I may not finish it. I will start it, and I'll count that for Jane Austen July. So I will start it, and let's see how far I get, and depending on how I like it and everything. But I have 3 months. 3 months to read it. So this is my next classic for the year. So I have read some good ones though, so I will say that. Okay, so now the fun part. Okay, so usually at this point I draw from my prompt jar, and then I also draw from my jar pick, which is all of these books right here, or these books and a few others. But I decided that I wanted to participate in a readathon happening in July called Deck of TBR. Deck of TBR-thon, right? And so here's the board I'm going to use. And this is put on by Becca and Chloe, and they do it every year, I think. And like I said, I haven't been able to participate as often. I think the last couple of years, like maybe I draw maybe one card and maybe read it or maybe not read it. So I decided, since I've been doing prompts this year, that I wanted to trade out my prompts for cards, and all the cards have prompts. And so we'll see. I will see how well I do with picking these books. I do have some books here on the side here. Maybe I'll just show these really quick. These are books that I have on my radar to read. The books that people have said they really enjoy, and I want to try to read. Oshina's been raving about this one, and I'm like, I have it on my shelf, and I've never read it. Hidden Places by Lynn Austen. And then in my recommendation video for American Revolution, somebody commented that this book commented that they were thinking about reading this book. It's called The Traitor's Wife, and it's the woman behind Benedict Arnold and the plan to betray America. I'm like, ooh, that sounds really interesting. So that is one I could read. This one I would really like to read in July. Maybe it'll fit a prompt. This is That Fine Line by Cindy Steele. This is set in the summertime on a Idaho farm, and this one I would read with Kenny because we both really love Cindy Steele books. I mentioned this one in that video as well, the Gilbert Morris book, Sound of a Trumpet. I found book 2 of the Three Sisters Island at the library today when I was looking around, and I want to go. I read this this month, and I want to, or the first book, I want to continue on with this series, and I found it in the large print section, so I love that. Another one I found in the large print section is First Love, Second Draft. This is by Becca Kenzer, and she wrote Dear Henry Love Edith, and I really love that book. And this one I haven't, this is not her latest, but I haven't had a chance to read it, and the cover's cute, and has to do with a woman and her ex-husband who was a baseball player. And then I mentioned this one in my recommendations video as well, Those Who Love. This is the Abigail and John Adams, like their love story, biographical novel. And so that would kind of go with my book that I'm reading, The Founding Mother, because it's her story, so you know, get a little bit of that. And then the last one here is I just saw this one and I grabbed it because it looked really interesting, and so it's called The Forgotten Midwife. It's a new book that came out by Laura Anthony, and it has to do with a dual timeline, present day New Jersey and then Ireland in 1954. And it's interesting. I was telling Kenny about it on the way home, and it's a family that the ones in Ireland, they're a Catholic family, and for generations their family, they have committed to the church that their eldest daughter will always send off the eldest daughter to the convent. And my husband's like, well, what if they don't have any daughters? And I go, well, maybe they send them off to be a priest. And he goes, well, what if they don't, you know, how are they gonna? He had all these questions. I'm like, I don't know, I haven't read the book yet. So it just sounded really interesting. So that could be a possible, you know, maybe one of these prompts that I get will count for that. So, okay. All right, so I had to actually go to the store and get some cards because I couldn't find any in my home. Well, I know we have some somewhere, but I didn't want to take the time to actually go look and search for cards. And then I thought, what if I find them, they might not be complete. So, I mean, I just grabbed some cards at Meijer, and they're just the basic cards. And I've already gone through, and I have taken out the jokers and the extra cards. And I have shuffled them several times. So let me remind myself how to play this game. So they also have where they're going to do teams. So in her announcement video, Becca's is the one that I watched, or Chloe's actually. She talked about that they're going to have teams, and they're based on the cards. Like, and I know I've already signed up for the Heart, because that has to do with like emotional reads, maybe like women's fiction, historical fiction, I think. So I'm doing Team Heart. And so what you do is you draw a card, and depending on and it doesn't matter what the suit is, it's just the number card. And then you could either try for 1 point, 3 points, or 5 points, depending on what you want to do. So let's just, like I said, I've already shuffled it several times. So I'm just going to take the top card here for my first one. And I decided I was going to draw 4 cards to add to my TBR. Yes. And I think if by the end of the month, or in the middle of the month, if I've read those books, which I probably not, because my average has been around 10. But if I have, then I can draw other cards. I think that's what I'm going to try to do. Okay, so let's see what my first card is. It is an 8. So, an 8, look at my little thing, is 8 is booking a series. So if I wanted to just get 1 point, I could start a series. If I want to continue a series, that's 3 points. And if I want to complete a series, that's 5 points. Okay, so I know what I'm going to do. I could actually use this one, because that's continuous series. Am I anywhere close to completing a series? I don't think I am. Let me check. Okay, for my card 8, I thought, well, you know what? I'm on a team. I should strive for more points, right? So 5 points is 1 if you complete a series. And so I checked my journal, reading journal, to see if I needed only 1 book, and there is one. I just need 1 there, and I have the book. And so I'm going to put this one down for my first card. It's The Maid's Secret, and this will, as far as I know, this is the last one in the series. So far, this one was published in 2025, and I haven't seen any new ones come out. So this, I think, would count for completing a series, which would give me the 5 points. So I'm going to put that card in there. So wait, that's great. And I hadn't thought about that. I was like, I'm on a team. I should try, if I can, to do the 5 points. Okay. So that's card number 1. Here we go. Okay. Oh, I forgot to say. Let's do that one last. The 4th card, I am actually gonna pick from see if any of my books from my jar fit. Okay, so card number 2 is a number 3. Okay, let's see what number 3 is. It is birthday. So 1 point to read a book set in your birthplace, 3 points for birth month, and 5 points if it's set in your birth year. That's gonna be tricky. I might do the 3 points, or I'll have to think about that one, because it would be, well, unless I go for 1, and that would be California was my birthplace, April's my birth month, and I'm not saying my birth year, in the 60s, the very end of the 60s. And I don't know if I have anything, well, a book set in the 60s. I'll have to think about that one. Okay, now we're doing book number 3. So card number 3 is a 6. Okay, let's see what that is. Number 6 is Becca. So Becca, I guess it would be read a book that she likes. I'm gonna have to so Becca, for 1 point, oh no, not these are just the prompts that she gave. So for Becca, for 1 point is read a romance or historical fiction. Easy peasy for me. 3 points for yellow cover. Oh darn it, I already picked a yellow. Oh, I've got a yellow cover. And then for 5 points, something with music. I'm gonna do the yellow cover, because I have that one right here, and it's got the yellow all in it. So that's gonna be 3 points. So 3's not bad. So that's gonna be book number 3, a yellow cover for Becca. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3. So this is the 4th one, and maybe I'll do 5 just for fun. Let's do number 4. So this is the next one. Is a king. Okay, what are we gonna read for king? So the king is random. Oh, you do a random number, random letter, or random number. Okay, I'm gonna have to do that one later because I don't have anything I can do a random here, but I'll come back with that one. And then I'm gonna do one more, and maybe this one I'll try to pick one of my jar picks for that, and it is a Jack. Okay, let's see. A Jack is emotions. So 1 point if you read a happy book, 3 points if you read a sad book, or excuse me, a scary book, which I don't like to read scary books, and 5 points for a sad one. And I love to read sad books, and I know I have one here. Okay, I think I'm going to do The Waterkeeper by Charles Martin. I have read like 3 or 4 books from this author, and every single one I've cried. And this one has to do with has to do with looking for a young girl, I believe. Oh yeah, human trafficking. So yes, it's gonna be very emotional, and I'm pretty sure I'll probably find some of this book sad. So that's gonna count for the Jack for emotions, and that'll count for another 5-pointer if I read that one. Okay. All right, so where are the 2 other cards that I picked? The 3, birth year, month and place, and then the king for a random number. Okay, how am I going to do that? Or should I just pick 2 different cards? Thinking. Okay, I'm going to be bad, and I'm going to draw 2 different cards because I don't have a random thing generator I can do right now. And then the whole birthplace, birth month, that was kind of tricky. So I'm just going to draw 2 other cards. That way I don't confuse myself, because I have my 3 here. So I'm going to do 2 more cards. So, and hopefully I won't get a 3 or a king, or I'll just keep drawing. Okay, a 2. Let's see what a 2 is. A 2 is other readathons. So I could do 1 point for Hot Cocoa Books Bingo, and 3 points for Sunrise on the Readathon, or 5 points if I do Big Book Summer. And that only has to be 400 pages or more, so give me a second. Okay, for Big Book Summer, it only has to be over 400 pages. So I have set of the books that I had put on my side to see that, you know, I have The Trader's Wife. That one's over 400 pages. The Lynn Austin book is over 400 pages. And I'm really want to read that one. And then this one is over 400 pages as well, because it's, well, I shouldn't really count this one because it's only 400 pages because it's a large print. So I think I'm going to go with Hidden Places, because this one comes really highly recommended. It's over 400 pages, and it'll break up the other books that I'm reading, and so that's going to count for that card. So there's 4 cards, and I can still get this one in maybe if it counts for something else. Okay, all right, this is fun. I love picking the cards. Okay, so 1 more card, right? I think so. Okay, so let's draw 1 more card for my deck. Let's see, this is fun. Okay, another 3. I think that's one that we decided not to do, so I'm getting rid of that one. Yeah, I'm totally cheating. Okay, all right. Okay, this is a new number, number 7. Okay, 7 is polls, title, author, emoji. So I guess I can do this on my channel. I can do a poll of 3 books, and then I'll have people vote on it during the month. I think that's what Chloe said we could do. So I'll have to do that one. Now that one I can do. That one is going to be a later book anyway, so that'll work. So, okay. So let's go over those that I picked out. So I had a number 8, which counted as a series book, and I did the 5 points for complete a series. And then I drew a 6, which was Becca's prompts, and I did a yellow cover for 3 points. And then he's not a musician, is he? I'm trying to think. Is he a musician? I don't think so. No. Just checking. Could be a 5-pointer. Okay, and then number I had a Jack, which was emotions, and so for 5 points I did a sad book, and that's the Waterkeeper. And then the second to last one I drew a 2, which was other readathons, and so I did Big Book Summer for the 5 points because it's over 400 pages, Hidden Places. And then the last card I drew is a 7, which is do a poll, and I could either pull like maybe 3 or 4 titles, authors, or for 5 points, emojis. And I don't know how I'm going to do that. I might just maybe I'll just do author for the 3 points. Okay, so those are my cards for the Deckathon, and I think I did pretty good. I hope you all don't mind that I switched out those 2 cards because I wasn't able to do them during my video. Okay, so let me look through my notes and make sure I got everything. Readathons, I did that one. I did all of that. Yeah, I think so. I think that's everything. So yeah, I have quite a few books on my TBR. Am I going to read all of them? I don't know. I'd like to. I'd like to get some of these read, especially the Revolutionary War books, if I can try to fit some in. I know there's a novella that I really want to read, and it's really short. It's called like Agent 355. I might do that one because it's so short. And then I have other books that I'm also thinking about reading, but I really want to try to get the ones that I pulled from the deck to get those points for my team. Like I said, I'm on the heart team. So comment below if you are going to be doing the Deck of TBR thon and what team you're on. If you're going to be on the team hearts like me, let me know. And this is gonna be fun to try to keep track of all my points and things. Hopefully hopefully I get the 5 pointers in so I can add to my team. And then again, like I said, if I finish these towards the end of the month, I'll draw some more cards, and if I do that, maybe I'll come back with maybe a short or something, and I'll have to remember to do that poll as well. All right, so that is it. That is everything. Oh, before I go, I wanted to show you, almost forgot, I wanted to show you, my daughter did a special rock for me for the anniversary. Isn't that cute? She did a little flag. She was just such a good job. So she did that for my desk, or for my shelf. Okay, so now that's everything. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and again, I will leave everything in the description below. And hopefully I wasn't too scattered, and you all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.